Welcome back to the news at 10. To education now. Teachers in Edo State are required to write a test to check their level of competence. However, this recruitment is generating some controversy as the People's Democratic Party says it's a ploy by the state government to sack teachers in order to shore up revenue, which the PDP claims to be depleted.
Most people will remember the story of this teacher who struggled to read a written text last year. The incident happened in Edo State when the governor, through the ICT unit, decided to embark on the certificate verification exercise for teachers. Since then, however, many other issues have come up, which government says has made it necessary to embark on a competency test for teachers.
We don't have to make sense after of this discourse. And I call the NMC, TUC, the AUT, and the Secondary School Teachers Union, and so these are issues for which you and I must find solution. Because the teacher is also a father or a mother. And beyond wages and salary, we have a duty to society. So we need to now separate the qualified teacher from the non-qualified.
These are arguments which the Edo State government says justifies the test. However, the Edo State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Teachers thinks differently.
We said no to the test is that the same committee that laid out 836 persons are still the same person, one. Two, in doing employment in any organization, first thing you do is to ask the teacher to do a competency test before they are being employed. So that is called pre-appointment. This is always done before your entry.
The PDP also have issued a statement stating that the government's decision is aimed at sacking teachers so as to shore up alleged depleted revenue. Part of the statement reads, and quote, using competency tests as a yardstick for retrenchment means using teachers as scapegoats for the dire financial crisis the state government has plunged the state into. We condemn in very strong terms the decision to conduct the competency test. It is discriminatory and unacceptable. For it to be justified, the state government should first of all subject everyone to competency tests, starting from the government house. But the governor is convinced that if teachers must receive wages and higher wages at that, then they must earn it. All these issues have stalled the competency test, which was meant to have commenced in January. If it does go ahead, it will be conducted by Education Consultancy firm, as well as the West African Examinations Council. Teachers who fail the test will either be redeployed or relieved of their jobs.
For the second time in 7 months, the Niger Delta Development Commission has commissioned and handed over a 174-room modern prototype hostel to the authorities of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, in Imo State. At the official commissioning, the chairman of the NDDC Governing Board, Senator Bassi Ewa Henshaw, says the project is meant to ease accommodation challenges.
This is the Federal University of Technology in Owerri, one of the institutions that is benefiting from the infrastructure development project of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. Taking place in the institution is the opening and handing over ceremony of a 174-room prototype hostel built by the NDDC for the institution. For the new board, this is their first project since assuming office last December. The commission isn't alone in this ceremony. Other dignitaries who graced the occasion include the chairman, managing director, and other directors from the region and the university community.
Training of technological students falls completely in line with the philosophy of NDDC, which is to forge to develop strategic infrastructure.
For the managing director, Mr. Dan Abia, The project is in line with the transformation agenda of the President and the philosophy of the Commission.
Our gathering here today is a clear manifestation of our continued commitment to improving access to quality education across the Niger Delta region through the provision of infrastructure, among others.
The Vice-Chancellor of the institution says projects like these will help the university produce high-profile graduates.
The university all over the world cannot alone cater adequately for their infrastructure needs, but also must lean on other stakeholders and benefactors like the NDDC for assistance.
The Commission has since promised that such a project will be a continuous one in the whole Niger Delta region.
Well, residents of Utako and Wuye districts in the Federal Capital Territory have pleaded with the Federal Capital Development Authority to stop the dumping of refuse on the access road in the area. The residents are accusing officials of the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency of dumping the refuse, which has become a health hazard.
This is one of the two roads that connects Utako and Wuye districts. While Utako is a commercial district, Wuye is largely residential. This connecting road is about 3 kilometers long. This has been converted to a sort of dump site. There are several designated dump sites within the city. Converting this area to a dump site is one thing residents here are not comfortable with.
Those vehicles that used to go around town collecting refuse, the big trucks that are coming, taking people's refuse home by home, they are the ones that are bringing it here.
The smell alone, the smell we do perceive in that place is not good for human health, to be sincere with you. I don't think this is the way forward to forward this very road they are seeing.
The Environmental Protection Agency, they are aware of this because their staff drop this waste here. They are aware. From all the available information, they cannot go to airport road. That is where they're supposed to drop this this waste rather than dropping it here.
Another worrisome situation in the area is this abandoned sewage treatment plant. This plant is meant to recycle human waste, but it has become a source of concern for people who live in the area.
A lot of criminals, hoodlums do come to this place. They will tell you in pretension that they are washing machine, they do these things, they excrete here, and no single or you cannot walk here single-handedly.
However, officials of the Federal Capital Development Authority say efforts are being made to rid the city of dump sites like this.
The minister, in his effort to ensure that Abuja remains the way it ought to be, is ensuring that cleaning is an ongoing exercise. As you're fully aware, the population is increasing dramatically, and which calls for more effort on all the stakeholders to ensure that the cleaning efforts are carried on a daily basis.
This abandoned bridge is an indication of an ongoing construction in this area, and it will make access between these districts easier. The residents in these areas will be hoping that work is completed on the infrastructure, and in the end, miscreants and garbage will not be a threat to them.
And what has banking got to do with environment, you may ask? Well, there seems to be more global awareness by banking institutions in recent years towards addressing the environmental and social impacts of their services. Here in Nigeria, there is a set of principles on sustainable banking which is geared towards ensuring that these financial institutions are environmentally friendly. Our correspondent, Ayola Kasim, has more in this report.
In today's globalizing world, banks play a crucial role in allocating financial resources. Financial institutions play a key role in every segment of human activity. Banks' financial services are used too often for activities which are harmful to the environment, human rights, and social equity. However, in whatever way we look at it, banks can be powerful agents of change. In Nigeria, banks have resolved through the Bankers Committee to embrace sustainable banking practices as it is becoming a new trend in today's modern banking business.
We know globally there are mega forces that are making businesses and organizations to imbibe sustainability, such as the recent financial crisis, the economic downturn that we've experienced. And nationally, in addition to that, there is also pressing environmental and social issues.
The Nigerian Sustainable Banking Principles include commitments by the signatories to integrate environmental and social considerations into business activities, respect human rights, promote women's economic empowerment, and promote financial inclusion by reaching out to communities that traditionally have had limited or no access to the formal financial sector.
In addition to making sure that the banks do business with companies that do not carry out activities that impact negatively on the environment and human beings, they will also have to internalize these principles and make sure that within the bank they also have a footprint, that environmental and social footprint within the bank.
Experts in the sustainable business are warning that unfortunately the Nigerian business environment, like most developing country markets, is particularly characterized by poor governance and weak consumer voice, which will in turn have implications for the success or failure of the longevity of the Nigerian Sustainable Banking Principles. The launch of the principles is a major step forward, they claim.
Let us integrate the process of climate change into our development process. Let us have a short-term, a long-term, and a long-term program. And within this, we start to look at what are the challenges, what are the business opportunities.
Even though more needs to be done to create an enabling environment for sustainability to thrive and bear meaningful fruit, the banks that are truly committed to sustainability will seek to create the change they desire and not play victims of weak institutional context. Ayala Kasim reporting for Channels Television News.
So banks do have a connection with the environment, but let's quickly cross over now to our business studios where Mark Wilgun is standing by with today's news.
Well, thank you, Harriet. It's worry here as the Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has expressed concern over recent developments on the political landscape and their adverse implications for investors' confidence in the economy. In a communique released to Channels Television, the Council of the LCCI reviewed the progress on the 2014 federal budget and expressed concern over the prospect of long delays on the passage of the budget. According to the Chamber, such delay has a number of consequences for the economy, which includes delay in the delivery of infrastructure projects, which has profound impact on the productivity of the Nigerian economy. It also pointed out the need to ensure proper alignment between expenditure and revenues in order to minimize domestic debt accumulation, with its attendant heavy burden of debt servicing. Accordingly, the Council of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry calls on the federal government to accelerate the implementation of the various public expenditure management systems, especially the Treasury single account, to save the economy from the unbearable burden of avoidable debt obligation. Also talking about the budget, all hopes of having the 2014 budget passed by the National Assembly were dashed during the week as the two legislative bodies are yet to agree on it. The appropriation bill has passed the second reading at the Senate, but not without some reservations by some of the members. However, at the lower chamber, the bill suffered a setback as debate on the draft law was brought to a halt after two members presented opposing views on its consideration. Consequently, the Speaker of the House, Aminu Tambuwal, set up a 6-man committee to look into the views and present a position to guide the House. On our focus on the economy, our business correspondent, Chimezie Obiwagu, takes a look at the implications of this delay to the economy.
In an event devoid of speech-making, the Minister of Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, laid the 2014 budget estimate separately before both chambers of the National Assembly on Thursday, December the 19th, 2014. This may be said to be coming late, but beyond that, it's February 2014 and the budget is not yet out of the works. It's been trapped in what many would describe as a struggle for power between two leading political parties.
Budgetary horse trading and budgetary between legislature and executive is natural in all countries. But at this point in time in Nigeria, where our revenues are under pressure, we're talking about monies that are not accounted for, we're talking about oil that we cannot account for. What has to be done and done quickly.
As a tool for economic management, both public and private sector players depend on this budget for planning.
As much as the budget is being delayed, it is going to delay so many things which are supposed to have done, and at the end of the day, we may not get the required result if it's passed late.
Money are not exchanging hands, a lot of business are not working. They just think about we that put them there.
The likely implications of this delay in the passage of the budget cut across board. The Nigerian capital market is not left out.
To take it practically, here's a company that has posted a good result. But whatever they will be in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, is determinant or is dependent on what government does, because government policy can turn around the company for good and can turn it the other way around also.
The delay, no doubt, will slow things, but when approved, the monies are expected to be paid in arrears. Economic experts say the timing difference is still very important.
By June, July, everybody's going to be talking about only election. So we have the next 2-3 months to actually execute and spend judiciously to ensure that the people can get the good and judicial return for their money.
In all of these, many are optimistic that in the end, good reason will always prevail. It is expected that the presidency and the legislature will come up with a solution, and very quickly too. Chimezie Obiwagu, Channels 10.
Well, it's not all gloomy though, as the federal government is looking for an international bank and a local lender to act as book runners for a 100 million diaspora bond it plans to issue. According to the Debt Management Office, bids for the book runners are due on March the 10th. The Debt Office advertised in August for financial and legal advisors for the bond, although it's not disclosed whether any have been appointed. It said it would register the diaspora bond with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and would seek to have it admitted for trading on a major European exchange. And talking bonds, yields on Nigerian local debt are expected to rise at an auction next week amid waning interest from offshore investors who have been exiting the market as the U.S. Federal Reserve scales down its monetary stimulus. While Nigeria plans to sell 90 billion naira in 3- and 20-year bonds at its monthly debt auction on February the 12th. The traders say their expected yields on the two bonds to increase by around 50 basis points each at the auction. At the last sale in January, the yield on the 3-year bond rose 20 basis points to 13.1%, while that on the 20-year paper climbed 40 basis points to 13.6%. Well, that'll be all on business news tonight. Harriet will be back with the rest of the
Well, thank you, Mark. Well, next on news at 10, Eden Hazard scores a hat-trick as Chelsea goes top of the English Premier League. That's in sports news. Please stay with us.